I would wait for the traffic light to turn green,
Nah, that sounds a little boring.
then take a deep breath, then check for traffic, and then accelerate out of the traffic lights. Okay? Remember, we are in a chaotic place. People jump lights all the time. And the people who jump lights may not be in the group with you, they could be in the group pointed at you, right? You still have the fastest accelerating mode of transport out there. You're still going to be the little tail lamp disappearing into the distance if you feel like it. So there's no reason for you to leave early.
Hmm.
When I see an intersection ahead, I will never cross an intersection on an open throttle.
Hmm.
Have you done that?
On an open throttle.
Yeah. Positively open throttle through an intersection. Why not?
Risk mitigation for me. Very simple.
I want the weight on my front wheel where most of my braking is. I'm prepping for an emergency. Intersections are where accidents happen the most often.
No, I think at a very basic level, you have to look in many more directions. I need that time to at least be situationally aware that I have enough time, I have enough room to react to something, right? That is at the very basic level, threat detection has to happen because now suddenly you have many more places from which people can come at you.
Yeah. So when you approach an intersection, I don't care whether you're going fast or slow, it's a matter of confidence. Close your throttles. I'm not saying slow down through the intersection. I'm saying have the throttle closed, have the weight already over the front wheel so that in case you need to make a direction change or hit the brakes, the steering geometry of the motorcycle is already ready to accommodate that strain. But since you have so much acceleration on your average machine, if you feel like everything is safe, you can always pick up the throttle and restore speed whenever you feel like. What else would I do? I'd leave early for everything. I'd rather arrive 5 minutes early than rush through the whole process. Right? So if I'm, for example, planning a 1,000-kilometer day and I'm thinking leaving at 4 o'clock means I have to put a little bit of strain into my ride, I'd rather just move the departure time up half an hour than do anything else. I'm not saying change the stops or go through the fuel station screaming at everybody saying, jaldi petrol bharo, mere ko bahut dur jana hai, chai bana lo, bill bana lo. No. Just leave half an hour early. It takes care of this train. And leaving early is awesome. It means even less traffic than normal.
Also means fewer people join you for rides.
Which is also okay. Which is also okay. Sorry, the other side of motorcycle culture is that as much as motorcycle culture is a community thing, there's a very powerful side of motorcycle culture, which is a solo thing. And some of you will be designed better for solo than community, and you should thoroughly enjoy the fact that you're alone and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The risks of what will happen are real, but they're as real in a group as they are in solo. The only guarantee a group gives you is you hope that there's competent, helpful people in there who'll know what to do, which is not always the case. Okay, the reason why I'm scared of riding in big groups is because I'm saying you're taking responsibility for me when something happens, and I take responsibility for you when something happens. Him I trust. If I'm riding with Karthik, something happens to me or the other way around, God forbid, I know what to do next. How many people in your group today will know what first aid is?
Shit, this is a damn good point, man. That I know that Santosh's
National Outdoor Leadership School, which used to run the first aid event that Santosh ran.
okay. So like that is actually such a kick-ass thing that should be a part of everybody's default motorcycling culture.
Yeah.
Right? As a first responder.
Yeah, because
Right? What is the must-haves?
yeah, and when you learn first aid, the first thing they teach you is a lot of not to dos. Like for example, when somebody's fallen off a motorcycle, don't move them. They might have a neck or spine injury which will aggravate into some very serious life-threatening conditions if it is undiagnosed at that stage. But your friends are most likely to pick you up by hands and legs and move you to the side of the road first. Whereas the safer thing to actually do is for somebody to walk way ahead up the road and start telling traffic to slow down and go around you until a professional or a qualified person can establish that there is no serious neck and spine injury and you can actually be moved. Will your group do that? And I would rather ride alone knowing that I don't know how I'm going to be helped by who. All good intentions, maybe bad execution, rather than a group of people where I am guaranteed a bad execution. Nobody's trying to kill you, right? After you had a crash, nobody's trying to actually harm you. But the harm is coming because you just don't know better.
Right.
Yeah. Your first reaction is helmet utar do. And we all, at least in the knowledgeable motorcyclist community, we know that removing a helmet in a first aid situation is a very big decision. It means we have established that there is not enough spinal and neck injury evidence for us to attempt to remove the helmet. But the average motorcyclist who doesn't know any better will go for the helmet because they think you're having breathing problems.
Correct.
Right? I remember when Abhay had his big crash on the X-Pulse. Basically, we were going to get jump shot. He recceed this place, but he jumped there. So it didn't go to plan. He did a Superman, landed on his face. And yeah, nasty. And he was on his face, but he was not breathing clean. So you could hear a rattling kind of noise, which freaked out the other people in that group. I had just finished my first aid training, or at least I'd read up on it or whatever. And my first reaction was, first aid says ABC, airway, breathing, circulation, which is to say, can you breathe and are you bleeding? In that order, which is the critical thing because you need to breathe or you'll die instantly, but you can afford to bleed for 5 minutes before something serious happens, right? So I can see that he's breathing. But I am not confident about the way he's landed. So I don't know if anything is broken, sprained, I don't know. So I was quite happy to let him be. To the best of my knowledge at that point. If you're a medical professional out there, you think I should have done, yeah, okay, tell me about it so that I can learn something from it.
Actually, if there are any medical professionals, motorcyclists who are watching this and have any resources that you think would be handy for people in groups like this to, just get familiarized with, please shoot to share.
Yeah. So it took me a while to actually go up to Abhay, tell him to roll over, check himself. And it turns out it was nothing. He was just so winded that it sounded like that.
Okay.
A normal person's first reaction was to try and flip him over.
Yeah.
Was to get him out of his helmet,
Right.
unzip his jacket, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
He didn't need any of those interventions. What he needed was big head impact. So you need a new helmet later, and you need a CT, MRI now. That's it. Like St. John's in Mumbai, for example, runs first aid training. The National Outdoor Leadership School in Knowles, I think it's based in Ranikhet. They also run on contract first aid schools. Well, they'll give you the basics. Okay, 15, 20 of you can get together, reach out to Knowles, and then set the date, and they'll send a trainer over with the equipment, and they have CPR, which can be opted for or not opted for, etc. It's very easy to do. How many of your groups have actually done this?
That's pretty kick-ass.
I did this the moment I realized that, hey, this is a skill that I am going to need. Hopefully not for myself, but certainly because I'll be responsible for a colleague, because as a person shooting film, I am going to be with people constantly, whether I like it or not.
Whoa, you made it through a video that's way longer than 1 minute. We might be onto something here. In which case, head to the MotorInc channel and there might be a next challenge waiting for you there.